12.
Either.
The three departments are Ranson's Auto Repair uses this floor space. The body division uses 3,000 square foot, repair and service uses 2,000, and painting 1,000. The annual insurance cost of the building is $2,800. It is distributed on the basis of the floor space of each department. How much should each department be charged annually for insurance to the nearest whole dollar? So what's the first thing that we have to make sure of? Add them all up and then?
Divide each one by it.
Perfect. Because that decimal is what we're going to use to figure out how much insurance each of those divisions pay, right? Does anybody want to see the math? So we would basically have what, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 on the bottom of or in the denominator for each fraction, correct?
He said,
Everybody good with that, or do you want to look at the numbers?
Good.
13. Balin Operating Corporation plans to produce cowlings. What's cowling? Oh, John.
Baby cows.
No, John Jender told me this. This is a plumbing thing, I think. If I remember right.
It's probably just like a clone person.
Yeah. Cowlings that will be sold at $20 per unit. Manufacturing any cowling will cost an estimated $24,000 in fixed cost. The variable costs of producing each cowling are estimated to be $10. How many cowlings must they sell to break even? What sales must Balin earn on the cowlings to reach a break-even point? So what's the most important part of this? 20 minus 10, okay, because I gotta subtract out what are my variable costs from what we're gonna spend it for. So 20 minus 10, and then we're gonna take that 24,000 divided by obviously 10 here, and then we would take, so that would tell us how many units that we would have, and then to break even, I would take those number of units times what? 20, right? 20 is what we're gonna charge everybody for them. So basically, we would have to make $48,000 just to cover our costs. Which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Now again, those numbers probably to some of us just seem like outrageous numbers, but you know, for this cowling operation, if they don't make that, it's probably a joke to them, you know, because they're gonna do a lot of that kind of business. Number 15. Depreciation. What were the 3 ways that we could do depreciation?
decreasing percentage.
The year one,
Declining balance method,
the
okay?
sum of years.
Sum of years,
And then acres.
and
Table
then that
one.
Mackers one, which was the table, exactly correct. Declining balance method, you always used a fixed rate, right? So why did it go down?
Because the balance.
Because you had to, then you had to do that whole cycle of taking your original amount, subtracting the amount of depreciation. Make sure you read these questions really careful to see what they're asking you for, right? Do you want the book value? That's a whole different column, right? Meaning adding that or subtracting that down. The book value means what?
How much it's worth.
How much is worth after however many years of depreciation. Awesome. So number 15, the original cost of a stamping press was $152,000. The factory plans to use it for 5 years and then trade it in for $44,600. Find the book value of the press at the end of the first year using the sum of the year's digits method. Do we need to go through this one? What's the most important part of this problem?
15.
Okay, one is the, how do you
Plus 2 plus 2
find your denominator? So the number of years, you just add them all up, and that's your denominator. Where do I start?
The highest year.
Always the highest year, so in this case, it would be 5 or 15. What's the other big part of this problem?
Take
When you-
152,600 minus 44,600, and then you use that number.
And then you always use that.
Multiply. You
Perfect.
always use that number.
Perfect. Why do we have to do that? Because we're calculating the trade-in value, right?
But then when you are finding the other one, you have to use the first number,
Right, when you're trying to find, what's the other one mean?
the book value.
The book value. When you're finding the book value, you gotta go back to the 152,000.
Real quick, the math on that would just be like whatever so it'd be 5 over 15 times the whatever 152 minus 44.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But then if they
Yeah.
ask for the book value, then I'm taking that answer and subtracting it from 152,000.
Yep.
Is that correct? Everybody good there? Anybody need to see that up on the board?
Nope.
16's the next one. So a business van costs $21,000, using the Macros table, find the depreciation for the first year, what is its book value at the end of the first year? So again, that was that table, I don't know if I had that page.
So when you do those ones,
Oh.
and you find the
393.
depreciation, do you add them up and then subtract it from the original one? You know what I'm
You
saying?
can do that for the grand total,
Yeah,
yes, at the end.
you don't just use the last number, last year?
Either way, it should work. You know what I'm saying? If I subtract the first one from the original, that should be after the first year. Or I can do the multiple years and then it get me down to that last number. Or I can do it individually.
So you just add them up.
393 is the page,
393.
and then you just do your.
So,
1,000 times.
0.2, I believe.
0.2, yeah.
Okay.
And that'd be yours.
When you do these though, I don't know if you heard what Molly was asking. When you do these, if they ask for multiple years, always go back to the original cost level.
And then
So
you
if
just,
they would have said the third year,
do you just add up those numbers and subtract it?
okay, that's where, I see what you're saying, yes. So you would have to, right. Does everybody understand what she was asking there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Say that again?
So if they, this one only said after the first year, if they would have had multiple years, I need to go back to that original amount, which was $21,000, and use that every single time with those decimals from that table.
Oh, yeah.
And then add them all together to find my actual book value.
Okay.
Number 18 is the next one, shipping costs. This is on page 397. If you want to look at that table. Company wants to ship a package that weighs 10 pounds to zone 5 using National Shipping Company's 2-day service. Insuring the package will cost $6.75 more. What is the total cost to ship the package? So I'm gonna go back to my table, find that number, and then add on $6.75. What's another really important part of this is that if my package was a decimal or a fraction, I always do what?
Round it up.
Go up, right, to the nearest whole, or to the next whole number. It's always up, though. Don't round it down, even if it's really close to that other number.
That's for pounds, right?
For the pounds. So this one said 10 pounds, so you didn't have to worry about it, but just be aware of that on the test. Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
19, Velcro in Madison ships 42,350 pounds of lumber by freight to True Time Inc. in Pine Valley, FOB Pine Valley. The freight company charges $21.19 a counterweight, or CWT. What is the freight charge and who pays it?
42,350 × 500 times 21.
So the most important thing is, if you can't understand or hear what Derek's saying, you gotta divide by 100. How do I know the 100? Is because of that CWT part. And here's where you gotta be careful too. This one you gotta round up also. So if you take that number divided by 100, you get 423.5. So it automatically goes to 424. And then I would take 424 times my number that they gave me. And then, so here's the question, don't say it out loud so everybody has a chance. Who has to pay for it? What do you think? Who pays for it? Always the opposite name that's with FOB. So when it says FOB Pine Valley, it's the other person that has to pay for it.
So it's True Time.
So this one would have been the True Time or the Velcro. Okay? No, True Time and Pine Valley would have been the same person.
Whoops.
So Velcro would have to pay.
What does that stand for again? FOB? Does that stand for anything or not?
Yeah, what was it?
This is Cranborn
So
and
doesn't
Honey.
that mean Pine Valley pays for it?
No, because it's free for them.
I swear that means Pine
It
Valley.
doesn't matter.
No, it's always the person that's not after FOE. Trust me. Okay? Bring on board though, Jeff was right. Okay with that though? It would have been $8,984.56 if you were doing it. Number 21 is the next one. Remember, this was the section that was kind of a little sketchy with kind of wording and stuff. 21, an office with 2,500 square foot rents for $48,000 a year. Light, heat, insurance, and maintenance are estimated to cost $4,500 a year. What is the total annual cost of this office space per square foot? So what do I do for this one?
48,000 plus 4,500 divided by 2,500.
Okay, sounds good to me. Everybody hear what he said? So we would have $21. Now, it says if one workstation area is 30 feet squared, how much does this workstation cost per year? So I'm gonna take that answer that that Derek came up with, which was $21 times 30, right?
Wait, what did he do? 48,000 plus
Yep.
4,000 divided
So he's taking the rent plus all those other expenses and then dividing by the square footage. So that's for the entire thing, and then now we're looking for each individual workspace. So it would have been $630 per workspace. 23 is the next one. This is the one that always gets justice for whatever reason. A clerk can sort and file 1,125 invoices per day. If the clerk earns $10.20 per hour and works for 7.5 hours a day, how much does it cost to file each invoice to the nearest 10? So we're going to obviously find out how much we make in one day. So 7.5 hours times 1020, and then take that answer and divide it by the number of whatever we're talking about per day. So again, when they say the nearest tenth of a cent, we're actually adding another decimal place to cents. So this would have been 0.068. Okay. Last one was 25, the travel expenses one. Rick Belly spent 2.5 days at a business seminar. He was reimbursed for traveling the 250 miles to and from the seminar by personal car at 0.515 cents a mile. He was also paid $135 per diem. What was his total reimbursement for the seminar? Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
250 times the 0.515 and then 135 times 2.5 and add it all together. Questions?
We're gonna have to do that one thing.
466.5, yes.
We're gonna have to do that one thing where you have to add like the square thing of the box or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was part of the ship.